Welcome back, fans and friends. After a bit of a hiatus, I do come back with a new material, which is usually the reason I don't make videos, which don't want to do it. And here we have for today the S2000. So this is from the Fast and the Furious series that they have from Jada. It is die-cast, as we found out with the Nissan Skyline 2000 GTR. This is Johnny Tran's S2000. So there's another one, and we're going to see it in just a few seconds. It's Suki's. This one is claimed, I think Johnny's is supposed to be a 2000, but we'll see anyway, for the casting anyway. Here's Vin Diesel, looking upset as always, and then we have on this side Fast and the Furious, the coding number, which interestingly, if you can hear that, is etched into the cardboard, which is unusual, present day. We have there all the other information, 2024, and a bunch of the cars. We'll go over them quickly afterwards. Made in China, and reserve the rights for product changing. So a bunch of them, just we'll go through them quickly. We have a GTR it's unusual that they do this thing where they sort of name the main characters. Certain cars you can see Brian is quite prolific. There's Hans RX-7, Dom's Grand National from Buick, and then that's one that I might get if I ever see it. And then the 1968 Dodge Charger wide body, which also Dom drives. There's the other one that he drives in the first movie. So there's a bunch of advertising specifically towards the main characters. This is the one I was talking about, the S2000. I believe that's a later model of this version, but I think when they cast it, they do not differentiate them too much. And that's just simply for production issues. Sorry, production reasons, not issues. And then the Jada oval mark is registered trademark of Jada Toys Inc. Contact them if you want. Obviously, they're on the west coast of the United States. And then here is the list of most of the vehicles as is covered. Although there are a few that are not shown in the pictures, like the Lamborghini W Motors, which makes I believe, the Hypersport from Lycan, Jeep, and Porsche, which was in the back there. Nissan, obviously, Mazda, RX-7, Chrysler, Mitsubishi Motors. I don't know if I want the Lancer. I want a Lancer Evolution, but I don't know if I want this one. Toyota, Volkswagen, Ford, GM, Honda, Dodge, and Acura, as well as Peterbilt, unusually. So we have there a bunch of the other vehicles offered. So just going out, Johnny Tran is a character from the first movie, way back when, and he drove obviously this car. He defeats, I believe, I forget the guy's name, but he drives a Volkswagen Jetta, and then there's a couple of incidences involving him, and then he dies. One of the few actual characters from the first movie, the villains overall in the series that actually die. So anyway, and his Honda S2000 obviously gets trashed. They claim that there's $100,000 in upgrades to it or something like that. And one of the upgrades should be the engine, which should be a Nissan engine, the 20 DET, which was based off of the similar era's Silvia instead of this. They're both, I don't know if the Silva of this era was rear-wheel drive, but this car for sure is a rear-wheel drive car. So the 2000 up until 2003 would have had the F20C engine, which is, I believe, a 2-liter engine. And then in North America for 2004, 2005, not North America, the US, they would have the F20C, which was a slightly upgraded version, increased displacement. And then after that, Japan also used the same engine. So I'm just going to go ahead and unscrew it so I don't have to do it later. I don't have to waste too much time. The background we'll go over quickly. You can see there in the top left the markings for the production code for the product. And so there is basically 2 screws, as you can see here, obviously. And unfortunately, this car looks to be completely out of scale. It is physically larger, and there's a lot of plastic you saw just fall out. So you can just see there all the little bits, the screwdriver and everything else. This part goes on top of the plastic underneath, and you screw that directly to, and then here's the backing of what goes on. So just FF, which is obviously Fast and Furious, not Fantastic Four. It's F and F, and then everything else is just like that. And there's no mention, obviously, of the character that drives this car, which is sad, but that's the way it goes. So, as for the car itself, it comes with a lot of decals. It's very, so like I said, it's supposed to be, I think, 124, but it is much physically larger than a Dodge Challenger, which is way bigger than it. From Maisto, so somebody's lying. Anyway, so one of the issues I had with the Skyline GTR side windows, Brian's from the first video that I did, is you can see here how translucent the plastic is from certain angles. We can see on the inside there a screen plus 3 silver dials, which is pretty good. It looks really nice. We're going to see it later on. And so we'll just start with the front. So there you have the grille. Nothing special about that. The Honda insignia. Then you have his gang, I want to say, colors. You have inserts for lights, which is always great. And it actually should be standard on these larger models. I will open the hood last. And you have large rearview mirrors looking into the cabin. You see that it's left-hand drive, so it's clearly the North American US market version of the car rather than the Japanese one, which would be right-hand drive. It is a Honda vehicle. And then on to the left side, we have a bunch of automobile specialist companies. Exidy, Toyo Tires, clearly making the wheels. Tanabe, and G-Ready, which I believe is what I think that is, but it's rather hard to read. So I apologize if I did not get the correct company. And there's his gang colors twice, 3 times, and then he's a Vietnamese ancestry, I believe. And then NX, I think, is unfortunately hard to read the bottom of it. It is legible, it's just hard for me to read it. And then I honestly do think that his gang colors appear to be on the inner rim of the wheels, but I might be wrong. They do look very similar. And you can just see on the left and so onto that you can see in the rearview mirror it is shiny and semi-reflective. Onto the back you have a plastic spoiler, and once again the opaqueness of the rear windshield, which I don't like. And the Honda symbol right in the middle. He has a license plate that is actually labeled in the movies. Unfortunately, this one here does not have it whatsoever. It's chrome for the exhaust. You can see it on each side. They are not hollow. They are solid pieces. Once again, inserts. They made it look really plain like inserts. And it does move a little bit, which is questionable in terms of quality. Really sucks. There's again the rearview mirror on the right side. Right side is almost exactly the same as the left side. The major difference between the absence of the gas cap. So, and once again the gang colors. This is just my fingers, unfortunately, really unusually dirty. You can see bits and pieces, I think, of the suspension under there. It's not quite clear. So we're just going to pop open the doors, take a look inside. So this is much better than Brian's in terms of the interior. You have red seats plus silver dials. You see the screen on the right, dashboard on the left. It looks really nice. The gear shift there, everything else nice and plain and easy to see. And then on to the other side, just quickly. You get there, look, everything is in there. You even get details for the actual console. You can see speedometer and everything else, as well as knobs and dials. To the left of the steering wheel itself is not the pure circle, nor is it the oval, I believe. I've never sat in an actual S2000. I don't know if that's the normal steering wheel. So, second lastly, we go to the underside, where we will learn pretty much, I believe this is how they do their information. So this is number 99,541 of these S2000s. You can see there, 2001 Honda S2000, and the scale 124. I want to say 124-ish. And then UCS because it is from a movie and used under a license. And Jada Toys, Additive Industry, Jada Toys again, and Jada Toys again. So we have actually here, and you can see good details in terms of the drive shaft, transfer case, and everything else that involves being a front engine rear-wheel drive car. Muffler is done in chrome, so you can see it from any angle. And I do believe this here is the gas tank. So all in all, not awful. It's not terrible. It's not the usual car I like, but it's one that I don't have too many of, so I don't mind buying. Like I said, there's a bunch of them. I believe the Chevelle was on the shelf as well, but I just chose this one. It was the gray version, not red. So if I do see it again, I might buy it. They're not terribly expensive. And so the last thing and not least is to pop the hood. And in the movie, they claim that he has a Nissan engine in this. I don't know if we see it, but the VTEC appears to be very similar to the Nissan version of the engine. So unfortunately, you can see there, I do believe this is the F22C. F20C has slightly variations with this. They're both 4-cylinder, I believe, turbocharged engines. So the Nissan engine is a little bit different. It's more centralized than this one, but obviously if it's a Nissan engine in a Honda car, it is 100% aftermarket. So I do believe, like I said, the Silva of that era is a front drive car, and this one happens to be a rear drive car, so I don't know if they work it out, but it appears to me this one here is the F22C engine. It looks really nice, don't get me wrong, but unfortunately the hood, this is all that it opens, so it is not terribly easy to see. I'll try to do it like that, but you can see there's no writing on the top of it, so normally it would say either Nissan or VTEC, if it's the Nissan engine. It is not, but everything else looks great. So I mean, there you go, there you have it. So fans and friends, thank you for putting up with me. That delay, I bring to you this really decently well done Honda S2000 2001 version Johnny Trans from Fast and the Furious, the first movie. This is Thomas from Toronto. Thanks for watching, and till the next one.